and welcome viewers, I am Pia and you're watching NewsX. We are tracking updates from the United States of America, particularly Los Angeles at the top of this hour. Firefighters in the city are on high alert as the raging wildfires continue to spread across the region. Up until now, more than 12,000 structures have been destroyed and over 40,000 acres have been burnt down, and the death toll has tragically risen to 24. Many people are still reported to be missing, many more yet to be identified as their loved ones are mourning for them. The situation is expected to worsen as dry, dangerous Santa Ana winds are set to return, intensifying the fires. Meanwhile, authorities have issued a particularly dangerous situation warning as the National Weather Service in the United States forecasts wind gusts of 45 to 70 miles per hour through Wednesday, that is tomorrow. In fact, in response, additional water tankers and firefighters have been deployed from across the United States, Canada and Mexico as well. In fact, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has warned of zero tolerance for looting during the crisis, while fire officials remain confident in their preparedness to combat the escalating threat. Meanwhile, arson investigators have arrived earlier in Los Angeles County in order to begin searching for what exactly started the Palisades fire. Was it a natural fire or was there a human hand in this? This has of course resulted in tens of billions of damages, especially to a lot of real estate over there. There are high-end houses. That is one of the richest counties in the richest country in the world. Investigators were in fact seen earlier near the summit of the Temescal Canyon Trail to the north of the Pacific Palisades, where the fire is believed to have begun. You can see those visuals on your screens, viewers. The sheer scale of destruction that has taken place over the last week in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, I also have a rather interesting map to show you. This, of course, is the city of Los Angeles, and what you're seeing on your screens right now is in fact the Fire Information for Resource Management System map that is released by NASA. NASA, of course, tracks in real time fires that are taking place across the world, and this is of course Los Angeles, that you can see an aerial view of Los Angeles in particular, and where I'm highlighting with my cursor on the screen is the Palisades fire in particular. There are a total of about 5 main fires that are raging over there, the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire in particular. And speaking about the Palisades fire, till now about 23,713 acres have been scorched, and just 14% of this has been contained. Meanwhile, the second largest blaze, where I'm pointing right now with my cursor, is has burnt in fact 14,117 acres and is 33% contained. There are of course a lot of in fact firefighters on the ground who faced considerable difficulty. They have reported in fact that their hoses ran dry, they ran out of water, the water was not available in the reservoirs as well. Meanwhile, the curfew has been issued from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in several evacuation areas. This is being imposed. I'd like to show another map right now. This of course is a map made by the Los Angeles Fire Department. It's publicly available on their website, and this highlights the area that you're seeing in red and yellow, highlights the evacuation zone where the warnings have been put out for residents of Los Angeles to evacuate. There are about 92,000 residents in the red zone that you can see over here that I'm highlighting, and meanwhile there are about 89,000 other residents in the yellow zone. So all of these people are under threat of their of their houses completely being destroyed and their lives being disrupted. These warnings basically mean that they have to evacuate and need to leave at a moment's notice. There are, of course, meanwhile, charges of looting and arson as well. Of course, the police department is in fact investigating an arson angle as well, but we are expecting the Santa Ana fires to worsen. Meanwhile, joining us on the broadcast live is Kavita Ashok, environmentalist. Ma'am, good morning and thank you for joining us on NewsX. What we've seen over the last week in Los Angeles is once again a chilling reminder of what can go wrong even in communities that seem perfect. This is one of the richest communities in the world. One of the most affluent people live in Los Angeles, and their houses have completely been scorched by the fire. And we are expecting the Santa Ana winds to in fact worsen. But there's a lot of mismanagement as well that we've seen on the ground as far as the water availability is concerned. We saw budget cuts, budget of the fire department being slashed by about 17 million. This is something that Elon Musk has raised on his Twitter account rather vociferously. So do you think it is sort of a amalgamation of both the climate as well as the climatic conditions as well as mismanagement on the ground? Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, very much.
Indeed. So I asked, do you think this, what we've seen over the last week, is an amalgamation of the climatic conditions? Because yes, wildfires do take place every year around this time in Los Angeles and the area over there, but this sheer scale and the inability of the fire department in order to contain the fires, is that also testament to some sort of an element of mismanagement being there as well?
Firstly, I would like to attribute the fire to climate change. There are many factors, and see, it is lack of rainfall this year in Los Angeles, a very, very hot summer, and now the gusty winds, very, very strong winds, they've all attributed to this fire. So firstly, we don't know whether the fire is man-made or it is totally due to the climatic, the conditions. But as an environmentalist, I think because wildfires are regular in Los Angeles, it's a very recurrent, very annual feature of the city, of the area. Why the firefighters or the city itself as an authority was not prepared to face these the consequences of this fire, and it became so huge that now it's out of control. So I guess if one already knows that there is this feature or a natural calamity which comes to this area, suppose it's a typhoon in some area. In Los Angeles it is wildfire. California is known for its wildfire, and I guess that the state had to be prepared. So firstly, sadly, they were not prepared enough. They had to fly in firefighters from Mexico, and I just think that it's unbelievable that such a big city in the US was unprepared for a calamity like this.
Indeed. And and speaking of preparedness in particular, their governor is under fire for what a lot of firefighters on the ground have been reporting. We have been seeing visuals of firefighters, braving the blaze, going in between the blaze in order to rescue people, rescue animals as well. There are a lot of reports of pets having been left behind as people are leaving in a hurry. So the firefighters are on the ground trying to rescue those pets as well. And they've reported that they've faced shortage of water. Simultaneously, reports of budget cuts have also come to light. So do you think the LA County and the administration over there could have been better prepared for this, considering that this is a recurring phenomenon? This is something that does happen every time around this year. So they should have anticipated that something might happen once again, and they've sort of overlooked this, that has compounded the impact this time around.
Seeing the firefighters are doing a great job. They're risking their own lives, as you know, it's their duty, but rescuing pets from there is adding a human element to it, and it's really bringing a lot of cheer to a lot of people all over the world. We are watching news and seeing how they're fighting to save those houses, to save those people, and to combat with this calamity. But yes, of course, LA is it's a big city. I've been there so many times, and I am so shocked that how come the county does not have adequate funds to combat this kind of a wildfire. Everybody knows, everyone in California knows that wildfire is an annual thing and it keeps happening all the time. It doesn't give you a notice. Of course, wildfire can happen any time of the year. In California, it's in summer, of course, we expect, but sometimes even in odd seasons, you see forests catching fire and it becomes all hell break loose. So I guess that firstly, the authority has to be answerable. Whether they have the funds or not, we don't know. But of course, human life is supreme, and they should have, catered to the need of firefighting equipment and enroll more people and keep the city, in a manner that help could have been rushed much faster than what it has been done now.
All right, ma'am. With that, I would like to thank you for taking out time and speaking to us on the broad.